For those of you who are just tuning in today, this chapter is going to try to make Blitzbringer feel sorry for Chrysalis. However, we'll see if this is a possible task. So, let's join us today on Fanfic Full S, starring Blitzbringer. Enjoy. There was an unsettling quiet as they entered the Queen's bedchamber, as if not even a single breath was being drawn. The room was a lot more crowded than last time Mothball, Discord, or Mantis had entered. Their changelings were tending to their queen, determined to make her last few moments in this world comfortable. Adjusting her pillows, laying a cloth on her head, and laying extra blankets over her body. Her eyes were staring blankly up at the canopy of her bed. Even Twilight, whose life had almost been ruined by this creature many times, was disturbed by the sight. My queens, Mantis said, approaching the bed with the ivory chest hovering in front of him. I've brought your hearts and more. He gestured for Trixie to come. She gulped and slowly trotted to her mother's side, stomach churning at the thin, pale finger. Chrysalis squinted at her. Who are you? She asked in a weak whisper. Trixie glanced down and realized she was still in her pony form. Then changed back to her true self. Bellatrix, is that you? Yes, Mother, Trixie said with a nod. I go by Trixie now. I've come to succeed you. Trixie then stabbed her in the chest. Chrysalis snored. I didn't think to find you, or you would come back after we last met. She carefully looked her over. You changed. Not just your height, but something about you is... You got your heart back, didn't you? We ran into her and others at the old castle, Mantis explained. Others? She rolled her head over, finally noticed Mothball, Discord, and Twilight. She couldn't help but smirk. How charming. Two of my greatest enemies have come to see me off. Pity the other princesses and those element bearers aren't here too. It'd be quite at those reunions. Twilight looked up at Discord and whispered, I swear she wasn't dying. I know, right? Discord murmured. So, is this my grandma? Moonbeam said, putting her hose on the front bed. Chrysalis glanced down in confusion. Grandma's. My daughter, Moonbeam, Trixie explained, pointing her hoof on Philly's shoulder. I see. Well, it looks like you got the job of producing an air covers. You'll have time to improve her transformation. She looks like a pony mixed with a cow. Actually, she was born this way. The Queen's eyes widened. What in the world did you sleep with? T-Rex! Oh, Trixie knows that this fanfic wants her to be sleeping with Iron Will, but Trixie just thinks it would have been more fun if it was T-Rex. That's not important, Mother, Trixie said between her teeth. However, now that I'm going to be queen, there is something I'm going to tell you for a long time. She leaned forward and whispered harshly, I am not you. Chrysalis sighed. No, you're not. She once felt a rush of pain in her chest. Yes, she said, pulling her daughter close to her so her horns were trusting. It's time. The Queen's horns glowed and a set sparked to Trixie. The changeling princess jumped as she felt a jolt of electricity. Now let me give you one last bit of advice. Remember all those things I've taught you about being a ruler? Trixie nodded. Don't listen to any of them. Trixie was uncertain how to respond to that. Chrysalis released her daughter and looked around the room. Well, I have nothing more to say. Anyone else? Everyone was silent. Trixie and Discord were particularly surprised he had nothing left to say to the dying queen. Mothball glanced at the General Mantis, who had seemingly a emotionless expression, but he could clearly see the pain and sadness locked away in his eyes. The prince nudged the General forward. Mantis looked at him in confusion, only for Mothball to wave his hood towards his mother. Mantis looked down at Chrysalis and gulped. I have something to say. The Queen looked at her entirely to the General and took a deep breath. My Chrysalis, I just want you to know that, well, I suppose you already know, but I'd just like to say that being in your service is the only thing that has kept me going. He hung his head. I don't know what I'm going to do once you're gone. She gazed up at him, her eyes not giving any sort of emotion. Do it. What? She put her hoof to her chest. My heart now. Mantis nodded and opened the ivory box, levitating the faded green heart out of it. He squinted inside the box and his eyes widened. My queen, what does do it? Chrysalis barked. I don't know how to. Let me try. A Discord stabbed her. The heart vanished and Chrysalis sat up, wailing in pain. Everybody cheered at the sight of this. Another seedlings gripped one of her forelegs. The royal children and the child grabbing at the other. She took the nurses off so she could grip her chest. Her eyes shut tight as she gritted her teeth. Memories came rushing back. The births of her two royal children, the training sessions she shared with them, the long personal talks she shared with Mantis, all memories made without her heart. Never given much thought to these moments before, but now they were richer, more vibrant. The recollection of them brought her to tears. Once he had called down, she looked at Trixie and Mothball and said, Children. The two royals were alarmed at the tears streaming on either side of the mother's odd smile. She sniffed, you're so grown up and so beautiful. Are you all right, mothers? Mothball dared to ask, who also stabbed her in the chest. She surprised them even further by forming her hose around them both. Yes, my children! She cried, squeezing them tight. In fact, I've never felt better in my life. She released them and glanced down at Moonbeam, who also stabbed her in the chest. Owen, Silted Twilight. Me. Celestia. Luna. Lord King Cocoon. Kiriyamato. Shadow came by to stab her again. Oh, no. I want her to live. Why Shadow? Simple. If she dies, I lose my favorite punching bag. You're so beautiful, too. She gestured the entire room of changelings. You're so beautiful to me. Yes, Tracy's regained her heart. The only way to probably appreciate this scene of a evil creature like Chrysalis, who this fic wants me to go, oh, I am so glad she got her heart and I'm so emotionally in turmoil, is a little song gag. Trixie? Alright, got it. Click. You are so beautiful to me. You're everything I could want to be. I didn't think she get this sappy, Trixie whispered to her brother. Then again, she's been without a heart longer than me. The queen frowned when she met Discord's gaze. Discord, she said slowly. Now I have my emotions back. It's come to my attention any feelings I have for you have diminished. Discord snored. Well, would have been nice if you figured out this before you removed your heart and went on a vengeful rampage. Chrysalis rolled her eyes. I know, right? All that did was make me a power-crazed tyrant with no sympathy towards. Since he suddenly coughed and fell back onto her mattress. One of the nurses checked her pulse, as he had one to check. She has a pulse, the nurse said, but it's slowing. The sickness has reached her heart. So, Chrysalis heaved. I was right. It won't be long now. She turned to Twilight. Twilight, I know we've had our differences in the past, but do you think we can let bygones be bygones? There was nothing else the Alicorn could say to the dying queen except no. Good. She rolled her head to the Trixie and Mothball. Children, forgive me. I was denied happiness in my childhood, and thus denied it around everyone around me, even you. But it seems you found happiness on your own. I hope it stays that way. She lifted her hoof to stroke Mothball's cheek and then Trixie's. That way, your lives will be better than mine was. Wow, the prince said, tears forming in his eyes. That is the most supportive thing you've ever said to me. That's the same. Ditto, Trixie said, rolling her eyes. I'm sorry I won't make it to your wedding, Mothballs. Good, you're not invited, Chrysalis said, and Bellatrix, Trixie, I'm sure you'll make a splendid queen. Wolfbane sneezed and switched to her changeling form, which made the queen raise an eyebrow. And please, help your daughter control that. Oh, Trixie will. Trixie will do a far better job than you will. The queen sighed. I was a terrible mother, wasn't I? Mothball opened his mouth, but Trixie answered for him. Yeah, you pretty much were. Yes, well, you should know, even my hotness state, you're above the point to me. It's hard to believe, I know. Yeah, it pretty much is hard to believe. I love you both. You deserve to hear at least one from me. Mothers, Mothball says he touched her hoof. Chrysalis gasped and clenched her hooves. Her breaths were now short and barely audible. She entirely lifted her eyes towards the general, raising her hoof to cover his chin. Mantis, she heaved. She drew his face to hers, and lightly pressed her lips against his. If only. Her eyes closed, and her hoof gently fell from her general's face. After a long, shaky breath, her body went still. One of the nurses checked her pulse and hung her head solemnly. No, Chrissy, baby, that's not how you go out. This is how you go out. I'm afraid the wounds are fatal. Optimus, no! You can't die. Do not grieve, or soon I will be one with the Matrix. Ultra Magnus, my old friend. Sir, I bequeath to you our greatest treasure, the Matrix of Leadership. Sir, I cannot. I'm just a soldier. So was I. But one day, someone from our side will rise among us to unleash the Matrix and light our darkest hour. His chest slowly opens, and the Malabonic Matrix of Leadership pops out. Trying to hand it over to Ultra Magnus, the powerful item slips out of his hand and lands in the palms of Hot Rod. For a few minutes it glows, and Hot Rod feels a strange connection to it, as if someone, something, somewhere, is telling him that this is an important part of his destiny. The Matrix is then handed over to Ultra Magnus, who puts it into his chest compartment next to his spark core. With the mantle of Autobot Leader passed down, the EKG slowly beats its last, as Optimus feels his sparks slowly fade, rejoining the Matrix, the wellspring from which all sparks come from, and his body slowly turns gray. And the spark that was once Optimus Prime goes out. Now, there's supposed to be a version, a lot of rumors say there's a version where he turns to dust, but I've never seen it, and if he did, it would make a Dark Awakening really awkward. And that is how you go out. You've watched the Transformers movie way too much. The changelings fell to their knees and bowed their heads, the soldiers removing their helmets. Even Twilight and Discord lowered their heads in respect. Ah! Ding dong, the witch is dead, the wicked witch, the wicked witch. Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead. Oh, sad moment, right. Let me get my dating sim out here. Mothball held his mother's lifeless hoof, while Trixie embraced her daughter as unexpected tears fell down her cheeks. Mantis gently stroked the queen's brittle hair and closed his eyes. Even now, he refused to show his emotions in front of her. He looked up as a hoof touched his shoulder. He turned to Captain Akari, who tilted her head towards the queen's body. The general nodded and put his helmet back on. His heart illuminated. The green aura enveloped the queen's body. The rest of the soldiers did the same. And together they lifted the lifeless corpse from the bed. They positioned themselves on either side of the queen, Mantis in the lead, and carried her out the door. The others followed, the royal children and Moonbeam first, then Discord and Twilight, then the rest of the changelings present. Bringer, meanwhile, is partying. When they emerged from the bedchamber, they remained guests throughout the hive. Slowly and solemnly, the procession moved across the hive to a staircase leading to the underground. Many other changelings moved them. In the lowest part of the hive, "Oh, I'm going to carry that weight," was a grand tomb, with corpses of past changelings' queens preserved in raspberry jam. The soldiers laid Corseless's body near the empty stone altar. The soldiers stepped back, except for Mantis, who started speaking in a strange tongue that sounded like bees buzzing.
What's he saying?
The movie whispered to her.
He's saying, Hada freaking Lilia, the queen is dead. We've been waiting for that bitch to die forever. I mean, how long was he going to become a corpse anyway?
Discord snapped his fingers and conjured a green rose. Everyone watched him curiously as he pressed Chrysalis's body and placed it in her hooves. "Farewell, bitch." As the royals went to say their goodbyes, Mantis took out the ivory chest that held the queen's heart and opened it. Inside was a small book, which he had noticed earlier, but hadn't got a chance to ask about it. He opened to see yellow pages written in ink, each entry dated. After reading a few lines, he realized it was Queen's diary and stopped, for he felt he was invading the privacy. He noticed a slight bump in the pages. He quickly turned them over, his eyes widening when he got to the middle. It was a Lenmeme CD! Jeez! It was a Firebomber CD! Jeez! It was a Sheldome CD! Jeez! It was a Wondergren CD! There, pressed between the flowers, was a bloom cornflower. There was a caption below. "Metas gave me this today. That's the last bit of joy I ever feel." Did she really have to add the Z's? He levitated the cornflower from the bug and gazed at it in disbelief. He had given it to her the day she removed her heart, and she kept it all these centuries. The general then looked at the body of the queen and approached it, laying the flower alongside the green rose. "Rest well, my queen," he whispered. Discord glanced at the flower, then at the general. "You cared about her a lot, didn't you?" Mantis looked up at the Conquest. "Z may have loved you, Discord, but you didn't know her like I did." He hung his head and said, "No one did."
"Gerald, we're ready."
Mantis nodded and backed away from the corpse, closed his eyes as he, the royal children, and the other changelings illuminated their horns. Crystallized mucus surrounded the queen and slowly enveloped her body. Everyone watched as she wrapped her chrysalis, her body visible through the mucus for all to see. Changeling's horns diminished, and they all lowered their heads for one last moment of silence. Then the crowd started to depart. You know, guys, you keep this up, and I'm going to read what didn't happen after I'm done with that Full Metal Panic fic. That or always a ranger. Where's everyone going? The queen is dead. It's time to crown our new queens. She turned to Trixie. You coming, your highness?
Be there in a minute.
The colleague looked at her in general, was not in approval. Discord and Twilight followed the others out. Mothball placed Moonbeam on his back and joined them. Mantis, however, looked back at the princess, who was staring at the cocoon. He walked up and sat beside her.
It's funny. This fic expects me to feel sorry for her, but all of the abuse, all the torture, all the, horrible things Z did, kicking me out, treating me like shit. No, Trixie won't feel sorry for her. She is happy. She is unbelievably glad Z is gone. Trixie's going to find Pinky and she is going to have a party. If you don't mind, Trixie's about to become a ruler and is going to move on from this. Zia. Trixie never quite understood your feelings for her.
He sighed. It was never really a secret, was it?
Don't get me wrong. You suck at hiding your emotions. I mean, anybody who's read a book can still see that.
He looked at his hoof and caressed the cocoon's surface. You didn't know her when she was still herself. She was a young, frightened princess who was unsure what she wanted. She was told her destiny was to take the throne and one day rule Equestria. But every time I saw her, I knew Z wanted more.
And you did nothing to help?
But I was just a
Oh, don't give Trixie that. Many stories are filled with generals making their masters better. You did nothing.
Can I continue?
Oh, sure, go ahead. But Trixie isn't exactly going to be happy.
Do you know why Z was so interested in Discord?
Not really, no.
Well, I'm going to tell you anyway. Because he was the first creature to ever treat her as an equal, and the thought gave her pleasure. Z told me herself. Z developed such an obsession, which Z called love. When that love was shattered, instead of waiting for her emotions to stabilize, Z eradicated them. Only made things worse.
Duh.
The general lowered his hoof, raised his hand in determination. But I'm not going to make the same mistake.
What do you mean?
He turned to her. My sole purpose in life was serving your mother. When I discovered her life was ending, I thought mine was ending too. I'm not going to give up on myself because my love is gone. I've already lived longer than what is average for a changeling. I have a few years, maybe less. However many years I have left, I'm going to spend them making sure you start your new reign on the right track.
Trixie blinked. You do that?
The love of my life is gone. What better way to live out the rest of my days than to look after her daughter?
Trixie hung her head. Trixie hasn't been Bellatrix for a long time. She's still not going to be Bellatrix. She's going to be Trixie, whether this fig wants her to or not.
Trixie, Bellatrix, doesn't matter what you call yourself. She lifted her head and stared at the general. After one last glance at her mother, she said,
Lead on, General.
They flew up to the main foyer, where all the changelings were hovering above. A path to the throne cleared for the new queen. Mothball, Moonbeam, Discord, and Twilight were standing on either side of the large seat, waiting for her. Mantis put a hand on Trixie's shoulder as he nodded. She took a deep breath and proceeded to the throne. As she flew by, the changelings bowed their head. The Circle of Life started playing. She had forgotten how good it felt to have respect from others. She had been a queen once before. This time she was going to do it right. When she reached the throne, Mothball gave her a wink and Moonbeam waved. Trixie smiled and turned to face the crown. Mantis took Chrysalis' old crown from one of the soldiers and held it out to the princess. Trixie lowered her head so he could place it on her, just as he had done for her mother a millennium ago. Long live Queen Bellatrix Inzectoras.
Please, just Queen Trixie will be fine.
Cheryl raised an eyebrow, but started over. Long live Queen Trixie. As Trixie rose to her full height, the changelings and guests cheered. The new queen took her place at the throne. After a few minutes of applause, Trixie held up her hoof to silence him. Oh, great, Trixie. I'm never going to hear the end of this, am I?
Nope. In spite of how it goes, Trixie is right now glad that she is at least the queen of one dimension.
Oh, God, your ego's increasing.
Fellow changelings, she said, as your new queen, Trixie, my first order of business will be to grant you all what you've been denied. From what I have experienced and what I have witnessed from my mother, it has come to my attention that although emotions can make us suffer and lead us to do things we regret, we simply cannot exist without them. We fear so we may avoid danger. We anger so we may stand up for ourselves and those we care about. We regret so we may learn from the mistakes made by others and ourselves. And we love so we can make a difference in someone else's life. If these emotions are imbalanced, oh God, I got more, we create a void in ourselves. We spend years trying to fill that void, but all in vain. Our emotions can lead us astray. If we could get hurt along the way. But if we take the time to balance them out, we can become even stronger. No creature ever had to suffer like my mother did, and no one shall again.
She turned to the Conquest.
Discord, do you think you could do me a favor?
Discord shrugged. Depends on what it is. She gestured to him closer, whispering in her ear. His eyes widened. I could try that, but are you sure that's a good idea? Trixie glanced at the general, who instantly understood her intentions and nodded.
Do it.
Discord sighed and raised his claw. Very well, but you might want earplugs. He snapped his fingers, and all the changelings, the royals and the generals excluded, cried out in agony. Many grit their chests, and some collapsed to the floor in shock. Others cradled their heads. What did you do? Mothball asked.
Trixie smiled. I filled the void.
You mean use...
She nodded. No creature should ever be without a heart.
Lieutenant Bombus looked at the Queen. What's happening? Why do I feel... He said, why do I feel...
As the changelings started to recover, some of them were breaking out in tears. Others took a look at each other and embraced. In no time at all, the hive was echoing with happy sobs. Captain Akari caught sight of Bombus and blushed.
Oh, no, 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 no.
Oh, Bombus, she smiled, rubbing the back of her neck. About you saving me earlier, I never realized you were so...
See, he interrupted her with a sudden will and rushed to the General, throwing his hose around her neck.
General,
I want you to know you're like the father I never had, and that's really important to me because, none of us have many fathers. I love you, man. Manta scowled at the Queen, changes them back. The royals discordant Twilight burst into laughter. I'm serious.
Twilight smiled at Trixie. I guess we made the right choice in coming to find you. Indeed, Twilight.
The new Queen says he watched her subjects for more choice in their emotional state.
Things are going to be different around here. So, how did it affect you?
Well, I looked at all my notes throughout this chapter and my previous chat notes, and I can tell you right now, Fick, you did not make me emotionally sad.